Hi, welcome to One on One, brought to you by the Prescott Media Center, Prescott's Community Access Channel. I'm former Secretary of State, former City Councilman, and Prescott businessman Ken Bennett, and I'm interviewing candidates for the Prescott City Council and mayoral election that will be held this August. And today we have a few minutes, and we're very pleased to be visiting with one of the three people running for mayor, Jean Wilcox. Hi, Jean.
Hi, Ken.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Well, we're going to just start out by you introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background.
Okay, I'm the daughter of an Army chaplain.
Okay.
So I grew up on military bases all over the country and around the world. Japan,
my wife
France.
was a Air Force. Her dad was in the Air Force, so
Oh, yeah.
I know that feeling. But
It's an interesting lifestyle
bet it
because on an Army base, you have your whole complete town there.
Is that right?
Great place to grow up, very
Okay.
safe,
Okay.
lots of things to do for kids.
So when did you come to Prescott, and how did that happen?
Well, I moved to Arizona in 1992
Okay.
to Flagstaff.
All right.
And I'm an attorney, and I worked in the county attorney's office there
Okay.
for almost 19 years.
Oh, all right.
And got pretty tired of the snow. If you remember
Okay.
that one big snowstorm we had in 2010,
Yes.
that put me over the top. 48 inches of snow, and the shoveling was enough for me. So
Well, I can imagine.
I started looking around, and I thought Prescott looked pretty good.
Okay.
There was also a man here who was looking pretty good too.
Okay. All
so
right. Good. Good.
we developed a relationship, and I
Okay.
moved here in 2012.
2012. Okay.
Moved my household
All
over.
right.
And I've been here ever since. I decided to run for city council
Okay.
in 2013.
All right. What made you run for city council after just having been here for a year or so?
Well, you know, my whole, pretty much my whole career in law has been in government, local government.
All right.
So it's been part of my life.
All right.
The way I think, the way I see things. I just like the feeling of improving a community through government service.
Okay.
And
So
shortly
you've
after
been on
I
the
got
council
here,
for about 2 years.
I've been on the council almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. So shortly after I got here, I got a call from an attorney that I know who said, "How would you like to be interim city attorney for 6 weeks until John Palladini gets here?"
Okay.
Well, sure, that sounds great.
All right.
So that gave me an inside view in
Okay.
City Hall, and I was sitting in on management meetings and
Okay.
got to know department heads. And after that term was over, there was a, not a big field of candidates running,
Okay.
and I thought, well, I can serve.
All right.
I can put my knowledge to good use,
Okay.
be on the council, and
right.
I got elected.
All right. And so after having served a term, what makes you want to run for mayor?
After being on the council 4 years, I realized that I can do a lot more as a mayor. I can be
Okay.
the voice of the city. I can talk with people one-on-one from the outside. As a single council person, you don't have that much contact
Okay.
unless you initiate it, of
Right.
course. The mayor is really the person who works with the city manager to set the agenda and shape the agenda. So the mayor has a lot to do with the direction the city goes in the
Okay.
future.
Now, if a city council person, though, wants to put something on a city council agenda, are they able to do that, or is it still up to the mayor?
Well, a city council person can do that if they can find one other councilor to do it.
Okay.
It takes two.
I'm trying to remember back to my days on the council. I served on the Prescott City Council from 1985 to 89. I never sought the mayor's position. I was mayor pro tem one year, but I don't readily recall whether it took two of the 7 council members, or I guess there were 6 council members
Right.
and 1 mayor. But my recollection was that if I wanted something on the agenda, I could get it on the agenda. But maybe there was a rule that 2 or more had to do it. Is that the rule now?
It's the rule now, and usually it's not a problem. But
Okay.
sometimes you have a mayor who doesn't agree with
Okay.
what
All
a
right.
single council person wants on the agenda.
All right.
So you have to go hunt out
Okay.
another one.
Okay. So what are the main issues that drive you to want to serve as mayor?
There are a number of them. The first one really is diversifying Prescott's economy.
Okay.
And I know that's been on our agenda for years, but we really have to get smart about it and start targeting industries that would fit here. High-tech industries would be particularly suitable here.
Okay.
Ones that don't use a lot of water,
All right.
because we have to be very careful about managing our water.
All right.
We need to diversify economies so that younger people and younger families have an opportunity to have good career jobs, raise children, be able to afford to live here.
Okay.
We're losing too many, especially out of Embry-Riddle.
What do you think Prescott can do to diversify its economy and attract the kinds of companies that will provide those kinds of jobs?
Well, we need to have incentives.
Okay.
There's just no way around that. And some incentives that we can already provide are extending infrastructure to a new business or industry, water allocations, streets,
Okay.
sewer, that kind of thing. But we're currently working on a policy now that would incorporate how we give out incentives.
Okay.
And it could include training programs, or, you know, the city actually paying for a building
All right.
or something to get people
Are
here.
there some examples of things that have been done in those respects that you would like to do more of? Or are you really looking for some of the earliest or first opportunities to try to do what you're talking about?
Well, one of the things we're looking at still are destination retailers, and we have, you know, a couple of good examples that have worked very well here: Trader Joe's, Costco,
Okay.
Lowe's. And those were in the days when the city could offer tax incentives, but we
Okay.
can't do that anymore.
Alrighty.
So now our focus really needs to be not just destination retailers, but business and industries that take advantage of the kids who are graduating from Embry-Riddle, who have
Okay.
really good knowledge and experience in technological
Alrighty.
business.
And as a new mayor, what will you be able to do that previous mayors perhaps haven't been able to do to accomplish that mission?
Well, one thing I'm very happy to do is build on what Mayor Oberg has started in the
Okay.
last 2 years. And he appointed me to be chair of the strategic plan committee for the council.
Okay.
And part of that is developing an economic development strategy.
Okay.
So I'd like to build on what he has started and reach out even more aggressively
Okay.
to high-tech industries.
When you do that, do you do that just as the city of Prescott, or do you do it in conjunction with the other communities that we are surrounded by?
We do it on both fronts.
Okay.
Now, we have been a member of the regional GPREP group,
Okay.
Greater Prescott Regional Economic.
I wondered what that
Program.
was called these
Yeah.
days. I was back during 20 years ago when I was on the council, or maybe more than that, 30. It seemed like we called something the Prescott Area Economic Development Corporation.
Yeah,
or,
it's
you know,
it's an outgrowth of
it-
that.
An outgrowth of that.
Right,
Okay.
right. But we also need to work on it as a city
Okay.
on 2 levels. And so we've hired a really good consultant, Jim Robb, who's
Okay.
giving us great ideas, making a lot of good contacts. He works a mile a minute. He's hard
Okay.
to keep up with.
Alrighty. Okay. What other issues do you think are important for the city, and as the citizens contemplate who to elect as the next mayor, what are the other issues that you think distinguish yourself as being their choice as mayor?
Well, I think we need to continue to build the public's trust in government.
Okay.
That's been an ongoing challenge, and I am kind of an outsider coming in, but I do have a lot of experience in government. And my philosophy...
You still feel like an outsider now, even
Well,
with 4 years on,
I mean-
almost 4 years on the council, or?
No, not really, but some people would regard me as an outsider, having been here only 5 years.
Okay, alrighty.
But my philosophy is to try to get people engaged and involved in local government as much as possible.
Okay.
Try to set meetings at times when people can be there and speak. Have a communication program that reaches out to people.
Okay. What could Prescott, in your opinion, be doing better to engage its citizens and allow them to participate in their government?
I think we could have some night meetings.
Okay.
Currently our meetings are all at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and working people can't get there.
Right.
That's not fair.
Okay.
That's one thing. Actually,
If you're
our-
elected mayor, do you have that authority as mayor to set the meeting time, or would you have to get 4 votes out of the 7?
I'd have to get 4 votes out of the 7, but I would put a lot of pressure on them.
You'd work hard on that? Okay.
Yeah, and we do have a city manager now and a police chief who are on a routine basis going out into the community, coffee with a cop, where
Okay.
Chief Black will sit down with anybody who walks into the restaurant and
Okay.
talk about whatever issues they want to talk about. Our city manager meets at the library once a month. Anybody can stop in and talk to him. And I would do that as mayor. I would
Oh,
have
okay.
that kind of open office, whether it's
Okay.
at City Hall or someplace around town.
All righty. Other issues that you think are important moving forward in Prescott?
Well, there are a lot of them. You know, these are the same issues that we've been dealing with. Water
Okay.
is a big one.
And what's going on in water? What does the average citizen need to know is going on as far as Prescott's water future?
We are doing a lot to study whether or not the big Chino water basin can be pumped at full capacity without impairing the Upper Verde River,
Okay.
and also understanding what we would need to do to mitigate the drawdown of water in that water basin.
Are we just beginning to do things to understand the answers to those questions, or are we well into that process?
We're well into it. This is coming up on the 3rd year of a 5-year study.
Okay.
We're getting closer to understanding the science of it all, how much water is there, how much water comes in naturally, and also the cost of transporting it from one basin to another.
Are there any preliminary indications as to what some of the answers to those questions are going to be, or is it too early to let the cat out of the bag?
Too early to tell, but you know, one of the challenges is that it's not just the city of Prescott that's using a lot of water in these water basins. There
Okay.
are agricultural users, individual water wells, other water providers,
Okay.
special improvement districts, the town of Prescott Valley,
Okay.
town of Chino Valley. Well, they buy water from Prescott, but you know, there are a lot of other
The town
people
of Chino
involved.
Valley buys its water from Prescott?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not happy about that. But
I can remember kind of a time when we used to think of Prescott getting our water from Chino, but now,
well, that is in fact true. We
Okay.
do. Our wells are in Chino Valley,
Okay.
but we sell it back to them. We
Okay.
pump it out, put it in their
so
distribution.
we're kind of in this together, at least
are.
especially with Chino Valley.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So water is a big one.
okay. What else?
Well, part of improving our economy is not forgetting about the people who have invested in business here already.
Right.
And so retention of those businesses is very important.
Okay.
We need to celebrate more our arts and entertainment qualities that we have, because they really draw in visitors.
All right.
We can't let that slide.
Okay.
And well, we're doing a pretty good job, I think, of promoting tourism
Okay.
in Prescott. We've been named top of the list in many magazines.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I read somewhere that we were, is it Money Magazine that ranked us #1 in something in the last few years?
There have been at least 8 or 10
Really?
that I can't remember them
Okay.
all.
Okay. So retaining the businesses that we have here. What else do you think is important for voters to know? And why are you, in particular, going to be able to accomplish the important things that Prescott needs as opposed to the others that are running for the same office you are?
Well, there is one very, very important issue, a hurdle that we have to get over, and that's our PSPRS
Okay.
obligation.
All righty.
I'm sure this has come up before.
It always, yes.
Yeah, and it's like an elephant in the room,
Okay.
and we've got to start dealing with it, and we are.
Give us your understanding of and ideas on how we solve this problem. Obviously, we're going to have Prop 443 is going to be on the ballot at the same time as you as candidates are, and that's apparently a solution that has been put on the ballot by the current council as a way to solve the problem. Do you agree with that, or where are you on that, and how do you feel like we need to solve this problem with our public safety pension?
Well, I was on that strategic planning committee, which developed that proposal, presented it to the council, council approved it. I'm 100% in favor of Prop 443. I think it's the best immediate solution to paying down the debt. It sunsets in 10 years or less.
Okay.
And there are other things we can do, use some of our general fund reserves, find other efficiencies to cut down the
Okay.
general fund budget,
All right.
to advance the payment in that obligation.
So tell us what Prop 443 does. It's go ahead.
It's a 3/4 cent sales tax.
Okay. Currently,
So-
the city sales tax is
2%.
2%, 1% for the general fund,
Right,
and 1% for roads.
right,
And that 2% is on top of what the state does,
right.
which is 5.6.
Yeah,
And then there's a
so-
little bit of stuff that the county gets to do. So the total sales tax is somewhere up in the 8 or 9% range. But currently, 2% of that is the city, and Prop 443 would add another 3/4%. Okay.
Current sales tax is 8.35% in the city. So a 3/4% would add,
Just above 9, then. It would
Yeah.
put it just a hair above 9%.
9.1, yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's still less than Prescott Valley, if that's important to people.
Okay.
It's less than Chino Valley. It's a
Okay.
little more than some places in the valley.
All right.
But one thing that's different here is that we have a very low property tax rate.
Okay.
And in cities in the valley, they have a higher property tax rate. So it's either one or the other.
So even if the 3/4% is approved by the voters and goes in, we'll still have an overall rate that's lower than Chino or Prescott Valley.
Correct.
And because of our lower property tax rate, you still think we will compare favorably with cities in the Phoenix area that might have a slightly lower sales tax rate?
I think we will. I
Okay.
mean, there will always be people who would want to go to Phoenix and shop for a car or a really big ticket item,
Okay.
or they would order online
All right.
and avoid sales tax.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah.
something that bugs me, by the way. Is,
Me too.
Somebody needs to dig in and fix this whole issue about things that you buy from other states that are delivered using the same roads and infrastructure that we pay for here in Arizona. They don't have to charge sales tax. But if we go back down the street to a friend who might be running a whatever business in town that sells whatever it is we're buying on the internet, if we buy it from them, we have, they have to charge a sales tax, but their competitor in Alabama or somewhere doesn't have to. So
Right. If we had point of delivery or point of use sales tax, that would make all the difference in the world.
Right, okay.
So part of my economic diversification strategy is to really reinvent the buy local program.
All right.
So that we get merchants supporting each other, we get Prescott residents feeling like they're contributing to the community when they stay here and buy here.
Okay. Before we leave the Prop 443, do you feel that if the 3/4% is passed by the voters for up to 10 years, will that generate enough money to pay the normal payment that Prescott has to pay each year, and also enough to catch up on the back debt?
Well, we're
unfunded portion.
using the best information available.
Okay.
And you have to understand there are a lot of variables that change
Okay.
every year in these actuarial calculations.
Okay.
So based on what we know right now, we believe very strongly that we will be able to get the debt down to a level where we can pay for it out of our general fund without cutting the library, police, fire, the rodeo, the golf course, all those things that come out of the general fund, we can still maintain.
Okay. So you think that there will be enough money during that 10-year period of time to get that back, that liability taken care
Yes.
of, and get back to just making the regular annual payment?
Yes, absolutely.
We have a few more minutes left. What else would a voter want to know about Jean Wilcox and why they should vote for you for mayor?
Well, I'm a very nonpartisan person.
Okay.
You know,
And our city elections are not
And
partisan.
they are
No one runs as a
nonpartisan.
Republican or Democrat. But,
right, right.
At times, I get the impression that some people want to turn it into being a partisan thing. And obviously, people could probably look up and find out whether you're a registered Republican or
Sure.
Democrat or independent or whatever. So,
Sure.
But you nor will anyone else running for mayor or council be identified as a party. So
That's correct. Right. And my focus is on Prescott and what's best for the community.
Okay.
I really want to try to get more people involved. And
Okay.
you know, this go around, I'm really happy to see 6 people running for 3 seats on the council and 3 people running for mayor.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember back when I ran for 3 spots, there were 9 people running for those 3 spots. But recently, has there been fewer people seeking these seats?
Yes,
Okay.
right.
So this is a pretty good crew that are, as far as the number of people
Numbers,
seeking, it's back
It's-
up to at least 2 people for every one of the council seats and 3 of you for mayor.
Right, and it gives an opportunity for more exchange of ideas and
Okay.
debates, and we'll be having 4 or 5 candidate forums in the
Okay.
next month.
Now you're on the council now, so maybe this is a bit of an awkward question, but what could the council be doing better now in the future?
Communicating.
Okay.
One thing we have not had in the past are retreats or less formal meetings open to the public, but just casual discussion among the council members.
All right.
Maybe a little jokes, laughing, getting to understand our points of commonality.
Okay.
Right now, the only opportunity really we have to talk as a council is in front of a television camera at the dais, and it's very formal, and you have to wait your turn to speak, and there's not much opportunity for spontaneous debate where you can move an idea into a direction where you feel you have most people on board, and to hone it down into something that would be acceptable.
Are the current 7 members, mayor and 6 council members, do you feel like they're working pretty well together? Or is it always this clique against that clique? I can remember when I was on the council, it was very much, and I don't want to get in all the details, but it was very much a 5 versus 2 situation that developed for a period of time. Where are we at now? Is it kind of move back and forth and things get decided for their own merits, or is there kind of a this group versus that group?
I think on the major issues, the basic issues, we're pretty much in agreement.
Okay.
But there are some issues where often I'm the lone council member.
Okay.
Things like supporting open space acquisition,
All right.
or the mayor's resolution on climate change,
Okay.
where I would be the lone council member supporting that,
right.
and the others are, no.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you think makes a good mayor, and why is that you?
I think a mayor needs to be a people person and a person who really cares about the community, wants to see it thrive and prosper.
Okay.
And keep your eye on the ball and not let the bastards grind you down, as they used to tell us in law school.
Yeah. All right. What about being an attorney and your experience in government? Has that been a benefit to you, or is that not so much?
I think it's been a benefit because I have a basic understanding of what the laws are.
Okay.
But in my current role as a city councilor, I'm very careful not to express a legal opinion or act like the city attorney. That is the city attorney's job. So sometimes I'm asking questions I know the answer to, but the city attorney is the one who needs to give the answer.
What happens when the city attorney gives an answer that might be different than what you would have answered? I've heard it said that if you want 4 opinions, just get 3 attorneys in the room and you'll have 4 opinions. But
well, there's always the opportunity for me to go in before a meeting or after a meeting and have a discussion one-on-one, and he can come at me with his point of view in the law, and he's part of a network of city attorneys all over the state, and they communicate with each other, just like I was part of a network of deputy county attorneys. Yeah, and so we would vet issues before we would take them to our elected boards. Yeah. So I know he's got a pretty good basis for his opinions.
Okay.
Even though a lot of them are verbal, he also gives us very good written opinions.
All right. Well, we're down to the last few minutes. What else is there about Jean Wilcox that you would want a voter to know about you and whether to support you as mayor?
Well, I live in a community that was founded by my husband, who's an architect. Okay. And it's called a co-housing community. And it's has a different form of governance, which has taught me that it's very important to be communicating as a community and reach agreement by consensus. So we have a different kind of process that's helped me help me understand how to reach
If
community.
if you're a mayor, how will we maybe notice your abilities to bring that consensus together when sometimes you're the lone vote on some issues already?
You may not notice it.
Okay.
Now, one thing about me is that I'm fairly soft-spoken.
Okay.
I'm not a braggart.
Okay.
But I do like that old Teddy Roosevelt phrase, walk softly and carry a big stick.
Okay.
So my big stick is knowing what I'm saying,
Okay.
knowing what I'm talking about. And as mayor, it would be very important for me to meet one-on-one with each council person without
Okay.
violating the open meeting law, but
All
in
right.
order to understand what their
Yeah.
point of view is, what they want to see happen. And I can try to get that on the agenda,
Okay.
you know, direct the staff. Well, I can't really tell them what to do, but
Okay.
meet with the city manager
All right.
and see if we can't get something moving.
Now, we elect city council positions for a 4-year term, but we elect 3 of them alternating.
Right.
The mayor is every 2 years.
Right.
If Jean Wilcox is elected mayor, how will Prescott look different in 2 years?
I think
Or
you'll
feel
s-
different.
Yeah.
What-
Okay. I think you're going to see more progress on our infrastructure because
Okay.
we're just starting to get things going. A lot's been in the planning works, but it's going to be accelerated.
Okay.
I think you're going to see a less congested downtown that's still fun,
Okay.
celebrating the arts. I would like to start a charter review committee to re-examine our city charter. Some of the
Okay.
things in it are rather archaic.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Anything in particular stand out off the top of your head, or?
The 2-year term for a mayor.
Okay, all right.
I mean, really, somebody who's not been a mayor before gets into office, it takes at least 2 years to understand how the
Okay.
city works, go through the budget cycle. I won't have that. So I feel I can hit the ground running
Okay, good,
and get
all
a
right.
lot of things going.
Okay. Anything else that's going to look different or feel different in Prescott with Jean Wilcox mayor?
I think you'll see more business and industry here.
Okay. Good. Well, anything else that I haven't asked that you want to point out to our listeners, our watchers, that the audience? In the last 45 seconds, tell us why they should support Jean Wilcox for mayor.
I think that I'm the best person for the job. I've got the experience, I can provide the continuity, and I've got the knowledge.
Good.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you, appreciate your service. Having served in a city council position myself, I can remember back when no matter what you do, some people are going to be mad at you and some people are going to
Right.
be happy. And the ones that are mad about you on one particular thing seem to remember those more than the ones that, so the ones that are mad at you seem to pile up over time. And I hear a lot of good things around town about you, and I appreciate your service and wish you well in the election.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
All right.